This wasn't about the Buffalo Sabres and getting a hockey player. This was a world event.
Alexander Mogilny met for over an hour and a half with immigration officials in the office of District Director Ben Farrell. Unexpected arrival of Alexander Mogilny was an addition they certainly hadn't anticipated.
Alexander Mogilny has yet
This
to
is
make
the
a
latest tool for Buffalo sportscasters here, the English to Russian and Russian to English dictionary.
Что там говорят, что я думал только о себе.
I've heard that they write that I think only about myself.
Когда я закончу играть в хоккей, когда бы я закончил играть в хоккей в Советском Союзе,
Who was thinking about me when I finished playing hockey in the Soviet Union?
Once we were in Buffalo, we wanted to keep Mogilny's whereabouts private, but thought it was best for Mogilny to live with Don Luce and his wife Diane.
A gentleman came to the door one day, and he'd been asking questions at the local grocery store. You know, he said, Alex is here, and I'd like to talk to him, and he had a Russian accent.
Alex thought it might be KGB. He spoke English to me, and then he said something in Russian, and then I came into Alex and said, someone wants to see you, and he said, Nit, you know, I do not want to talk to them.
Why would he show up here? Like nobody else knew he was here. Kind of got the feeling that maybe somebody was doing something.
The next issue we faced was making sure Mogilny could stay in the country.
We're here this afternoon to announce that Alexander Mogilny has filed a petition for political asylum.
He came over as a humanitarian parolee, and that was a 6-month time frame. And once he arrived, we started to work on the asylum application, which was more rigorous, took more time, required an affidavit to be filed that provided background information about who he was, and more importantly, what the consequences would be for him if he attempted to return to the Soviet Union.
And those consequences would be
7 years hard labor, which in essence meant a death sentence.
Soviet military officials announced the 20-year-old Army lieutenant had been charged with desertion.
другого не могло было быть.
Well, they had to do that. It couldn't be any other way.
Obviously, he's got courage.
His long-term future in the U.S. was still in doubt, and we needed something. We looked to our owner, the late Seymour Knox III, who took it to the highest levels of the U.S. government.
As this thing dragged on, I knew that they were digging deep to try to figure out who can we contact, who knows who.
My dad had a great relationship with President Bush. He and President Bush had gone to college together at Yale. President Bush had been in a number of different roles, head of the CIA for a little while. He was he was vice president before he became president. Had all the connections. He knew all the people to call at that moment in time about what to do and what were the steps that you needed to go through to be able to bring a defector into America.
George Bush found the incident compelling. He felt sympathy for Alex, who wanted to be in a different situation.
It took several months, but finally Alex Mogilny was granted asylum in the United States.
You know, if that phone call to George Bush had not been made, if he had not gotten an asylum, then presumably he would have been deported.
He came over to me and said, "Am I free now?" And I said, "Yes, you're free." Imagine yourself, a 20-year-old athlete, making a decision to leave your home and family and seek your personal and athletic freedom in the United States. An act of courage and determination that would set the stage for many other elite Russian athletes to follow.
Over the line, Mogilny breaks in,
I just had a sense that this was, in all respects, the right thing to do at that time.
The dissolution of the Soviet Union, the wall falling down, a tremendous historical time, and that was part of it.